I think you're asking a very relevant question, and I think it's a generational question. So you're talking about someone of a boomer generation who has children that tithe, but then at the end of the month when they're running out, they come to her for money. And I see this a lot. I think I've even been that person, okay? So talking from experience now, but the Gen Xers and millennials are used to there being no ceiling on what they're able to spend, okay? So they're not changing their spending habits, they're just spending one more thing. So the tithe becomes one more thing they're giving to, like their bills or going to the mall and buying clothes or the car payment or whatever. It's like, I'd really like to do that. I'd like to feel like I'm doing that. So it becomes one more of those things, but they can't fit it all within 100%. And so it keeps busting out, and then it's like, hey, I need some help. Now, this can take a good form or a bad form, okay? Good form is you can't always predict your income every month. You can't always, if you're going to start with the first fruits, you can't always know that you're going to have enough. And one of the ways God takes care of people is extended family and then ultimately the church community. So in some ways, I think that's what God wants. Is like, trust me with what you know you have, but we'll catch you on the back end if you're going to fall, because there are these other things I've created to make sure you're going to have enough. Okay, so there's a healthy way this can take. There's an unhealthy way in which it just perpetuates consumerism without ever challenging it. Meaning there might be some people where their spending habits need to change so that they can tithe, be responsible, and pay, and be done kind of at the end of the month without always taking from borrowing on their privilege. I have a mom or parents that are just going to keep bankrolling me that way, and I'm just going to keep borrowing on that privilege, but without ever really changing my character in terms of responsibility. So the first way it happens, I think, and if you look at the heart of people, you'll know the difference in the two. The first way it happens, I think, is an honoring thing. The spiritual community or extended family is taking care of people that are trying to live rightly. The second way is, in some ways, precluding people from the painful reality that something needs to change. And my guess is possibly that goes all the way back to when those parents had those kids in the home, possibly. It could have emerged after they left the home, but consumerism taking hold, that with my credit card or with mom, I can just always keep going. I don't need to really cut it off at some point. And so that's very much a generational kind of question and issue. That's what's good about the Dave Ramsey classes, is if you put somebody in there, it's holistic, and it begins to lean into those different areas of their life and their spending and their money management. And so that's one of the values we have at Antioch, the elders, is that we would try to get as many people in this church going through Dave Ramsey. Not that he's biblical or scriptural. I mean, not that his thing is like the Bible. It's biblical in that sense. It's biblical values. But it's just good. It's just a good, rich, wisdom kind of packaged thing. So we actually have a goal to try and get as many people as we can to go through that because it's comprehensive. But I think your question is very relevant.